The next group that we have coming up, if we are good to go here, is our Movie Machine podcast. Our Movie Machine podcast is put on by Hot Chocolate Media. They do various films, podcasts, and fringe shows of geeky natures. I have actually been on their Movie Machine podcast before. What they do is they will get a suggestion from the internet and they will create a movie for you. And I've been on the show. It is a ton of fun. I really hope that you enjoy watching it because basically you get to watch how a movie is created. And, it's a good time had by all. So up next, we will have Hot Chocolate Media with the Movie Machine podcast. Let's give them a big round of a hand.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Movie Machine podcast. We love Jenna.
Yay.
All right. Welcome to the Die Laughing live recording. A special note, this is our 100th episode. So you are here live with us and sharing our 100th episode with us. Jenna Young of Fearless Comedy Production has graced us with her talent and presence as our guest. We do a guest every week of their show. As Becky said, we are going to make up a movie based on a random prompt from the internet. We programmed a AI interface called the Movie Machine. It grows more and more sentient each day, and it's developed its own thermal printer now that prints its prompts out for us. I'm going to introduce, and we're always joined, if you don't know, these people to my right are the Hollywood elite. They have extensive resumes. So Ben Lifson here is our writer. He's our director today. It's 9 a.m., guys. He's our director today, and he was lined up to direct the new Dracula movie in the universe that Tom Cruise just fucking killed. Sorry, Ben. So he's probably going to be delivering pizza or driving Lyft right now. And then our writer, Jacob Gulliver, who wrote all of Meek's lines in Thor Ragnarok, and Jenna Young, our producer, who has such sights to show you.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, so the Movie Machine has a prompt for our Hollywood elite here to pitch, starting with our writer. This is a wacky crime story. The main character is a suave psychic. The start of the story is adoration, and the end of the story is addiction.
Can I have that one more time?
Yes. We have a wacky crime story with a suave psychic who starts off the story with adoration and ends with addiction. You have 3 minutes starting now.
Absolutely. So this is something that I've been working on for a while. Excuse me. This is something that I've been working on for a while. I have this idea about a guy who kind of, gets started as like a junk shop owner or something like that, and, starts joking, oh yeah, I'm psychic, so I can find the perfect thing for you in my wonderful shop. Definitely like a big city environment with lots of little shops kind of around him. So it's this kind of environment where like everybody supports each other and he can find a good like market there to just kind of con people. But then he starts realizing that he is actually a psychic. He starts figuring out these things about people and is trying to, determine like, how do I talk to people about this? Is it ethical for me to be doing this? Now that I actually have this power, it's weird, like, should I still be lying to them about this? Or should I still be like trying to sell them stuff? Should I be using this for good? So I want this kind of like conflicted character who's very, very charming and can kind of talk his way out of everything. And so the beginning, he wants to be, this like cultural figurehead. He wants to be adored in this way by the community, but he ends up realizing that's not the way that he wants things to go eventually, and he'll start, branching out, and he'll like actually start using his gift to help people. I like the idea that there's some, like neighborhood institutions, local shops that are starting to close, and he's using his gift to kind of subtly figure out how can I keep these open, where can I get the money from to get this up and running. So he's going to various different shops. He's figuring out who will pay the most for some of this stuff. He's trying to kind of, milk some of the richer folks who are coming in and trying to gentrify the neighborhood to sell some of this junk in his shop so that he can, make money to help these people out. And then, I think eventually he starts realizing that like the psychic gift that he's using is taking a toll on him. So the more times he uses it, it's becoming this sort of like addictive thing, and it's draining him. He's becoming weaker, almost like it's a disease that's afflicting him. So he's trying to find a way, like, you know, how far do I push this? I'm clearly doing some good finally, but I don't want to destroy myself in the process. And I like kind of leaving the ending sort of ambiguous, so we don't actually find out whether or not he ends up, you know, destroying himself with his own gift or not. But, you know, we get the sense that he has helped this community. He has kind of turned a corner and changed away from becoming this sort of charlatan character.
All right, you got a name for this film about your charismatic gentrification fighting psychic.
I'm going to call it Mind's Eye.
All right, Director Ben, you have the first script for Mind's Eye about a super charismatic gentrification fighting psychic who gets addicted to his own power. How are you going to make this thing pretty, make it art?
So I have a couple ideas here. So first off, I really want to emphasize, you know, the con artist at the very beginning for the psychic. So we're going to get someone who we can see as like, you know, a mechanic kind of person. So we're going to get Danny DeVito. And, you know, because because then we can have all these scenes of Danny DeVito trying to scam people. And I think he can pull that off really well. And I think he can really do drama as well. And, you know, so, you know, we'll have him, when he's doing psychic, just like bulge his eyes out, and then CGI people will do whatever they do there. They'll smear some pixels all over the screen or whatever they do. I don't know.
How technical of you.
Yeah, well, you know what? I compartmentalize things, okay? When I was working on Dracula, they didn't ask me about effects. They already had all of the effects for me. They just wanted me to, you know, deal with the actors, which they said was like a low priority, but whatever. So I'll get the pixel people, and they'll smear their whatever. I'm getting off track. It's all going to be on green screen, so because that's how movies are made now. So, but yeah, we'll have him improvise the scam artist scene. He can really, and I think you can believe that he's a trickster, because I think, you know, people will trust him. You know, when you see Danny DeVito trying to sell you something, you know, you're gonna believe anything he says. And then he'll get psychic powers, which, you know, we got to give an origin for. I'm just so we're gonna have, and that's gonna actually lead into the ending that I actually am gonna write, because ambiguousness is boring. So we're going to have Psychic Dracula, and it's going to tie in with my rejected script. So Psychic Dracula, who will be played by Johnny Depp, is actually that's the person who, you know, who he is given powers to Danny DeVito, but Danny DeVito.
So you're saying that Johnny Depp bit Danny DeVito and gave him the psychic powers?
Yeah, well.
Is that what you're
He
implying?
gave him a mental bite because he's a psychic vampire.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
That makes so much more sense.
Right.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Ben. So, Jenna, as a producer,
Yes.
you got to give this green screen film drama starring psychic vampire Johnny Depp and Danny DeVito.
Oh, I just want to emphasize, we're shooting on a green screen, but we will put things in the green screen. So when we release the film, it won't look like it's on a green screen.
Okay, so it's a touching drama about Johnny Depp mind-biting Danny DeVito and Danny DeVito fighting hipsters socially. So what budget and how do you make this piece of turd make money? I mean, great film.
I'm actually really excited about this film. I think that it has great potential, especially with the Danny DeVito thing. And I've never known before that I wanted to see Danny DeVito and Johnny Depp in a movie together, so I think that's fantastic casting. I think what I'm missing right now is something sympathetic. I think that Danny DeVito might need like a dog or a nephew or something to so that he can show his heart. You know, we need to. Yes, he's a con man. And actually, here's what I'm thinking. I think we need Danny DeVito's psychic powers to make him capable of conversing with a dog. I think this is important. I think this is really going to help sell that mental connection thing. And I think the other thing I really want to see, I want a scene on a pirate ship. Is there any way that we can kind of
You're the producer. You can do whatever the hell you
well,
want.
What I'm thinking though, I want it on a real pirate ship. We can green screen whatever, but I want a real pirate ship, and I want to see them I want a walking the plank thing where there's like a last minute change of heart type thing, like, oh no, you don't need to walk the plank, I forgive you, or whatever, something like that. And then also, I think since we are going to green screen this, we need just kind of like a travel montage. I think that'll help, like kind of, because it's about like finding yourself and like getting over certain things. I want to see just like finding yourself shown in travel, like you're looking for different things, looking through places and finding your way through addiction. I think that would be a fantastic thing, that I like to consider myself a bit of an artist too sometimes. So like just a way of showing that's, also explosions. I'm gonna need more explosions.
Oh, well, obviously.
Okay, good. So we're on the same page for explosions. So,
Psychic explosions.
Psychic explosions. Are we gonna see, can we do the thing where like we go, yes, this I need. We go into the mind and you see the psychic explosion that's inside the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the super zoom, like you go through the eye into the brain.
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
this
thing.
is a cerebral film.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. So yeah. Oh, I'm liking what I'm hearing back as feedback. I think right now I'm gonna give it 1.5 million.
A $1.5 million budget?
Yes.
All right. So coming back to the writer, you've got the notes from the director in the studio. They want more explosions, a real pirate ship, a talking psychic dog who talks back to Danny DeVito, and you got a whopping $1.5 million to do it. How they got Johnny Depp to work for that, I have no idea, but good luck.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to a couple production house friends of mine, and I'm gonna itemize a list of like stuff I need and how much it costs. So and I'll just kind of subtly send that over to the studio and let them know that the budget's probably not going to cut it for what she wants. I'm okay with some of these changes. I think one way we can kind of get around having like a live action or CG dog that talks. I like the idea that there's like a piece of rare pottery that's like this beautifully sculpted Scottish Terrier, and that's the thing that Danny DeVito is talking to. So he has this item in his shop, and it's like his favorite item, and then one day it starts talking to him, and that's like how he realizes that he has these psychic gifts. I don't know if I necessarily like the idea that Johnny Depp has psychically bitten him, though I'm, given the kind of oddball nature of this film, I think, there's a possibility we could include like a psychic vampire thing. Just let's leave that for the end so that we have, make it something interesting that happens in the third act so we can really make the beginning part about Danny and his ceramic Scottish Terrier. I think there's also an interesting thing with, some of these like explosions and like pirate ship stuff. Maybe he gets some of his ideas and like visions in waves. So like he'll end up dreaming and his like, oh, I'm on a pirate ship now, and I've got my Scottish Terrier friend with me, and something crazy's happening, and then like at the end of this, something that actually impacts what happens, the next day in his store. So he's getting these kind of obtuse visions that actually do something. He just doesn't realize it until it's happening. So that kind of stuff, absolutely. I like the idea of like maybe there's an action sequence dream, or maybe he tips over the Scottish Terrier by accident, and like a little chip comes out of the side and it like causes this psychic wave, and he's suddenly in like an action movie or something for a few minutes. So I like the idea that there's all this sort of energy that's flowing between these two characters and impacting the real world, and then we can have these really great contrasts with just like normal people trying to live their life in this neighborhood. And I think that'll be really fun. I think that would be, something that it'll be kind of cute. It'll have little elements of humor, little elements of, action and drama, but, it'll still have some heart to it. It'll still be something that people will remember and get interested in. So yeah, I think that's a good way to go for this. I'm pretty happy with my new draft. Yeah.
Great. So Ben, the second draft of the script comes out. They've pretty much incorporated all your ideas, but instead of being literal, they're all in Danny DeVito's mindscape. Currently, you have all your PAs rubbing all the quarters you have together, trying to get more budget for this film. But how you feeling, man?
So this is a little less money than I was expecting with my vision. So, but I've thought of some clever workarounds. So first off, we have to cast the dog. It's Sarant, but we still need to talk.
You want a voice actor, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, to save money, who you don't have to pay a lot is dead actors. And if you're doing a voice, you don't need them on set. You just need sound clips. So we're gonna get we're gonna get Dom DeLuise to voice the dog. And he's been in enough stuff. We can just grab clips together and just work them together.
There's like 4 hours of unused clips from Every Which Way But Loose,
Yeah,
I think.
we can basically-
Or one of the Cannonball 4 or whatever.
Or
you
we
mean.
can just-
Yeah, he voices a talking skateboard in The
Exactly.
Skateboard Kid.
Right.
I don't think anyone saw that film, so
Right.
could probably just pull every from that.
Exactly. We also can't use Johnny Depp anymore. He doesn't work for cheap, I've discovered.
And he's also not a great person.
I had another person on there.
That light means the movie machine agrees with you.
Who's also dead. But if it's in the Mindscape, we can use archival footage of Fred Guini, the Munster dad. And it's a connection because his grandpa was a vampire. And actually, you know what? I would have used the grandpa, but all his stuff is black and white, and he's already dressed as a vampire. Which, actually, you know what? Mindscape, it can be black and white. We're gonna get the Munster grandpa vampire because he's already in costume, and the CG people, they can just cut an outline, and it's black and white because he's a mental vampire, so it's a metaphor. Explosions, we'll just use the After Effects stock explosions. Now, I would argue that a pirate ship is not a good idea with our budget, but since we still have to do that, we are going to, modern pirates. So we are going to just take our production crew, I have a yacht, and, we're going to hide our cameras and just wait for us to get captured. And, it's like remember The Revenant? Or,
The bear? Just,
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And that got a lot of Oscars because of all the horrible conditions they were in. People talk about man, that was so, they filmed in the cold and it was so terrible. Well, we are going to get so much recognition because we intentionally put ourselves in danger and got captured by actual pirates to make this film.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Good luck with that. Producer Jenna, I don't know if you plan on being on shoots, but I'd be warned. But your cast has been budgetized. You still got Danny DeVito.
Yeah, what
and
else
then
is
you
he
got the
doing?
voice of Dom DeLuise and one of the Munster vampire people. Like archival footage, your editing teams have worked their magic on, and So how you feeling?
I love the direction that this is going in.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Okay.
this is incredible. I am so excited for this. I love I love the idea of using real pirates to get that actual pirate feel into it. Unfortunately, I'm going to be busy that day washing my bed sheets, so I will not be on the shoot. However, I think that using actual live pirates is so good. It brings that reality into this, which for being such a cerebral thing is just incredible. It's like bringing the real into the dream. I love that. I think that's fantastic. I'm super excited for editing in The Vampire Dad. That just sounds amazing to me. I love the idea of the contrast of that. That just sounds really, really good. I think in order to make sure that we get some of those explosions, though, because explosions are really important to me in this, I think I want to up the budget just a little bit.
Oh,
I
really?
found a little bit more money. So we're going to up it to about $7 million. I know it's not that much more in the grand
I
scheme
mean,
of
Get Out
things,
was made for
but
like $2 million.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
I
like
think-
triple the budget of Get Out or something.
Yeah, and I think
So-
this is totally doable within that context. But I really need to see more explosions. Explosions are big. Also, if we can get like a little sideline with a kid or something like that. Just kids are cute. People love kids. Kids make money.
Oh yeah, working
Yeah.
with child actors is fantastic.
Right? I mean, they're just adorable. They've got to be sweet all the time. So,
Child
yeah, I
labor
think
laws are fun to work with.
I think that yeah, we can just throw a kid in there, and maybe it's just this once in a while kid that shows up as a part of the whole little shop scene thing. But yeah, I think I want to see more of that. Also, if we could get one scene with Danny DeVito in the real world small shop area things, but like actually in one of the shops that's a China shop, and if he can like accidentally knock some stuff over, that just delights me in my brain.
Do you
Okay.
do you want him to do it psychically or clumsily?
I want that clumsily. I want to see the person behind the brain.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add, Jenna, before you send this off to audiences and reap what you've sown?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. So, like I said, the movie machine's an ever-evolving AI. So I'm taking all this data I've collected, I'm inputting to the AI, and it's running a full-on simulation into the real world. This movie is real, and the movie machine is going to tell us how this movie does. And when I pull the lever on the movie machine, it's going to sound like a pirate sea shanty. You all heard that, right? All right. So this movie comes back, and the movie machine was totally prepared for it to be a terrible piece of shit. And it wasn't, because what you did is by casting Danny DeVito and doing this weird absurdist thing with Dom DeLuise and literally putting your crew in danger, and that funny little kid you had that just like shows up to Danny DeVito and makes fun of him on his bicycle a few times, people love. Like there's gifs of that all over the internet. And the Always Sunny fandom shows up in droves to support this movie. And it makes $115 million box office, which on your $7 million budget is just insane. You guys release it in February when normally, luckily you didn't go against Black Panther, you would have been buried, but you went, a February where Black Panther wasn't the best movie to see in this usual February month. And it didn't, everyone's like, oh, look at this weird avant-garde Dom DeLuise, Danny DeVito-led dark comedy. That's what they think it is, because the pirate scenes are very dark because the fear of your actors is real as they get AK-47s shoved in their faces. And the greatest thing that comes out of this is one of your crew had his own like handy cam in his iPhone, and he filmed the whole hostage situation thing and cut it into a documentary. And that he wins Oscars and becomes this big. He actually gets to helm a new Monster Universe. Universal gets to reboot it, and your crewman that cut the documentary gets to do it. So you guys made lots of money. Always Sunny. You do get to guest direct like 2 episodes of Always Sunny because of this success bin. So
great.
yeah, they're on season 14 or something now. It's great. Everyone's watching that show. So the thing the movie machine also does is give us 2 minutes per person of time travel magic. So you can examine your choices and you can undo or change anything you've made, or call your movie art and make it a day. So starting with our writer, would you change anything?
Let me ask you a question in response. Have you ever seen Danny DeVito eat a hard-boiled egg?
No, but I suddenly have a strong desire to.
Well, I have to tell you, it's one of the most incredible experiences of my life. When I started working on this movie, I had this idea for this sort of, heartwarming community tale about a charlatan who moves into, something that was more of a benefit to this community. And, as I got these suggestions, I didn't think that there was going to be anything there. But, sort of through the Terry Gilliam effect, we have sort of ended up in a place where it's sort of like the weird stuff that we did is somehow enjoyable. So, I don't really want to change anything. It's fine as it is. I just want to write more stuff and see if I can get Danny DeVito to eat more things in weird ways. Because that seems to be like the most fun I had on this. Completely unrelated to Danny DeVito eating, I am missing several toes. 'Cause they got infected while we were on the ship for so long, and I mean, you know, it's rough.
And they took one for ransom,
Right, yeah.
for the ransom
So-
letters.
It's,
I still have that toe.
I mean, did you keep it on ice? Like,
Well, it's not going to do you any good now.
okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I would have liked to keep my toes, but, you know, we made some art, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. I think, you know, maybe my only regret was, you know, not pushing hard for somebody with some, like, real heavy-duty acting chops as the Scottish Terrier. I would have loved to see, like, a Tilda Swinton or a Michelle Yeoh playing that role, just like, you know, as a contrast to goofy Danny, but yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
You mean just rehashed audio from Dom DeLuise as the terrier?
Right. So I'm saying
Oh, you
have
wanted
another
a real actor instead of
yeah,
sound
instead of
clips?
archival
Gotcha.
sound,
Are you
and
saying
cast
voice
somebody with
actors
real
are
chops.
real actors, sir?
So Ben, the only change the writer really made was changing. You said Tilda Swinton or Michelle Yeoh.
I mean, that was just, you know, a suggestion. We don't have to go with
Right.
that. I like it the way it was.
So those are the changes made. You feeling good? Are you going to change something different? Or are you going to call it art and accept your Always Sunny director paycheck?
Well, I'd normally be fine, but that crew member crossed me and got into the dark universe before I did.
It's okay, man.
I'm going to focus on him. So first off, I'm going to, under the table, talk to the pirates and suggest, as they're filming this, as the crew members filming this with my time travel magic, and suggest that, you know, their demands would be more effective if they made an example of one of the crew members. And I'm just gonna, you know, I'm not gonna say anything, but, you know, suggest that, you know, that crew member has a lot of people who really like him, and it would really make a big impact if something were to happen to him and his cell phone were to be left behind, though. I mean, I'll figure out how I'm going to phrase this. I know this is a very specific implication I'm trying to give.
Because of the implication?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I will then have the phone and, like, this is all theoretical, of course. I'm not,
No.
you know, suggesting murder, but it's not murder if it's in international waters. That's and I will have recovered the phone and, like, this was taken from one of my dear friends. I'm dedicating this film to him. And I'm directing it, and this was my idea to make it. And, you know, like, if then I get hired later to make my Dark Universe Psychic Dracula film, that'll be great.
All right, Jenna, you got 2 minutes of time travel magic and a very impressive mummified toe collection. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling fantastic. I mean, I knew this was going to sell big, obviously, but I did not expect quite the turnaround that we got. I was unhappy with a couple of small negative reviews that we got, specifically about that dog. I think we should have made it a real dog. I know that the ceramic thing was very slick and very everything, but I really think like a golden retriever or something like that would have just sold better. I was unhappy with the negative reviews on the voice acting and the
You still got like a 94% Rotten Tomatoes. Critics loved it, yeah.
I mean, yeah. But still, like, you know, you strive for perfection, right? So yeah, I think I would definitely replace the dog with a real dog. And I definitely agree with the getting an actual live actor for that dog. I feel like that dog could have taken a much more prominent role and really just kind of helped tie some of this stuff together. I think the other choice I probably would have made is I think we focused a little too much on the travel portions of it. I may have pulled that back just a little bit. We explored like so many different cultures in that, and I think I think it was a little overwhelming. So I would have pulled that back a little bit. Maybe not Egypt, possibly not Russia, but I think pulling that back just a touch. Same budget, because I'm a huge believer in enough constraints to get the job done. Oh, and more explosions.
Okay. So the changes you didn't mess with the film too much, so it's still a huge success and everything. However, Ben, you do get an Oscar for best documentary with your footage about the lost crew member and everything.
Fantastic.
You did forget that crew member had a family, and they sue you for using his footage to make profit. So all proceeds you get from that film go to them, and you still have to sleep every night knowing his death is your fault.
No,
So-
it's the pirates. I just
So,
imply-
Movie Machine, everyone. This is how films get made in Hollywood. And those of you who have been listening to us through our first 99 episodes know we used to end every episode with words from our patron saint, Guy Fieri. We still love Guy, and he is still means so much and inspires us every day, but we realize we need to reach out to a younger demographic. And we wanted to make sure that we end each episode with a quote from wisdom from the youth that really are in touch with reality. So Jaden Smith is our new patron saint, and we're going to end this episode with one of his fantastic quotes. Most trees are blue.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
And now we're going to do one more episode because this is a very short podcast, and we like to take them an hour. So we're going to mix things up and restart right away, guys.
You want to stay where you are?
Is that-
Do you want to stay where you are?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Bring up my notes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Movie Machine Podcast. We are live at Die Laughing this weekend. It's very exciting.
Yay!
Yay! And we are a show where we make up a movie very fast for you based on a random suggestion from the internet. And as always, we are joined by the Hollywood elite. We have three wonderful guests today who are going to help us make this movie. So I'm your moderator today, Jacob Gulliver. We have our writer, Ben Lifson, who is Donald Glover's mustache groomer on the upcoming Solo movie.
Nice work.
We have our director, Kyle Decker, who is Nick Frost's stunt double on Into the Badlands. And we have our producer, Jenny Young, who is the new head of the extended Hotel Transylvania extended universe. Congratulations, Jenna.
Thank you so much. I'm very proud.
Our movie machine has given us some divine providence here, so we have a new prompt for you. The theme of this story is a romantic revenge. The main character is an attractive hero. The major event of the story is reconciliation. Do you need that again?
yes, please.
The theme of this story is romantic revenge. The main character is an attractive hero, and the major event of the story is reconciliation.
All right, so I'm thinking, and obviously this will be constrained by the producer, but a series that I don't think has been tapped enough is the Lord Tolkien's work. They made Lord of the Rings movies and Hobbit trilogy. I don't think they added enough from the books in that. It was too short. But so I think we are going to really set a romance in Middle-earth. We don't have the rights. I know Christopher Tolkien won't give us anyone the rights to the other stuff, but Tolkien fans won't care if we just make things up or change the lore. You know what I mean? They're very flexible, and so I think they will be very open to us taking this in a new direction. So this is going to be, this is going to be a Romeo and Juliet in Middle-earth between the elves and dwarves. I know they did that in The Hobbit, and that was a very interesting subplot, but I don't think it went far enough. So the attractive hero is the elves, because, come on, just look at them. You know what I mean? It's just like, man, okay. So, and, we'll make up an elf name like Rondeloth, the Bowbringer. We'll get something in Elvish that sounds cool, but it's gonna but we're doing we don't see enough female dwarves in the film. So it's going to be, a manly or man elf and a lady dwarf. But here's the thing: is because revenge, and this is that originally the romance was meant to bring down the dwarves. So the elves were like, let us marry the dwarven princess and unite our kingdoms, and then we shall slay the dwarven princess or something, and it'll bring an end to the dwarves. And so that's the whole thing. It's like the elf meets it, and that's the whole point. Is he's trying to do revenge. It's all a secret, secret meetings. But he actually starts to fall in love with a dwarf named Bertha the Hammer Bringer. But they actually start to fall in love, and that's actually eventually you are able to unite the two kingdoms, the elves and dwarves, and reconcile with each other, bringing peace between them as they unite their kingdoms.
Do you have a title for this film?
J.R.R. Tolkien's, or J.R.R. Tolkien's Elvish word for love.
Okay. Okay.
I will look that up.
Okay. So, Kyle, you're working at your desk, and an arrow flies through the window. It's immaculately crafted, the finest arrow you've ever seen. A scroll unfolds with metallic golden text, providing you with this script for this newest film, which is in a language you don't understand, but somehow it means love. What do you think? Is this something that you can make into a movie, and how are you going to put your spin on it?
So the story is amazing. However, along with the arrow, 2 armed thugs from Amazon just came by and threatened to hit my knees with a warhammer because they just paid like $250 million for the rights to make a Hobbit TV series. That's real, guys. Look it up. It's insane.
Also, the word is Mel.
Mel. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove J.R.R. Tolkien from the title, and then through casting, I'm going to do something that would make sure no Tolkien fan will actually recognize this film as a Tolkien spoof at all. I won't. Well, not a spoof. I mean, we're completely co-opting Tolkien culture here.
The polite word is homage.
Yeah. But we're going to do it in a way that no fantasy fan will recognize this as Tolkien's work. Just follow me, and I think you'll get what I'm saying. So our dwarf king, who's kind of whose daughter is going to be played by Denzel Washington, okay? And then she is going to be played by Viola Davis because she's hot. She's off an Oscar nomination. She's fantastic. And our elf, handsome elf, like warrior badass, played by Winston Duke. You following me? Yeah. And he's going to have an aged old elf best friend. Who spouts wisdom and everything, and it's Whoopi Goldberg. So I don't want to say explicitly what I'm doing to subvert typical Western fantasy trope, but just follow me here, okay? We're going to follow your arc and everything. It's going to be set. They're going to do like a big song number that's based off like Norse song and everything like they did in the Hobbit movie. And these actors are going to do it, and they're going to sing it like it's their culture and just completely adopt it. And it'll be great. Like Winston Duke, did you see him in Black Panther? He's like 6'8" and like full of charisma and can tell jokes like nobody's business. He's going to helm the shit out of this movie. And Viola Davis, like her comedic timing to play off people, just like this is going to be so freaking good. I'm going to do all wide angle shots. Keep budget down. Instead of helicopter shots of Lord of the Rings, instead of filming in New Zealand, let's film in New Zealand in the exact same spots they did. But instead of helicopters, I'm going to employ an army of drones and simultaneously film from like 17 angles at once. It's just like, we're going to have to do a ton of ADR because you'll just hear bzzz on the raw footage, but it'll be okay because we'll have that. We'll get all the stunt teams and action teams from the John Wick movies, so we have the best action fights and everything, like no shaky cam, epics and everything. It'll be awesome. We'll have all this. We'll get the same Weta Workshop people who made all the armor and stuff, and like we'll take all the armor design from like Western history and like inspire a little Roman. So it was like fully embrace European culture with this awesome cast, and no one will recognize that we're pretty much pulling us beat for beat Tolkien, but no one will know why, right? So that's all I got.
All right, so Jenna, you've got a detailed treatment and some big names signed on to this film, which is currently called Mel. It's an elf and dwarf love story, which may or may not take place in the Tolkien universe. What do you think? Is this something the studio's ready to work on, and what kind of budget can these guys expect?
You know, I love this idea. I am so excited over this. I think there are a few things missing, though. I think we need puppets. And I don't mean like sock puppets or anything. I mean like some Henson style.
Like Dark Crystal shit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got
I think we need some of those. The tree thing is overdone in CGI anyway, but like, you know, maybe it's like a talking thistle or I don't know, something that I mean, or like a rose or something symbolic, like, you know, something that really helps pull the love aspect together, like it just kind of ties that theme in. I'm also thinking, so let's see, we've got the puppets. I want a little bit more out of this love story. Like I get the whole like captive, blah blah blah, whatever, but that's a little Stockholmy to me. So if we could, like, I don't know, I want at least a point of empowerment for this dwarf chick. You know, something that's like, nah, bitch, I got this. You know, something to give her more strength, which sounds weird to say about a dwarf, but I feel like storyline, we really want to tie that, you know, kind of give that a bit more of a feminist bump. We could conceivably throw like some class system stuff in there. We're talking about like a king and princess and whatever. And I kind of want to see a little bit more depth in that direction, just kind of some theme type stuff. And then if we could get just like, I want like a lagoon scene, and I don't know what that entails per se. I just really like water features. So yeah, if we could do all of that, I think we should do that, and I think that's just gonna like put this whole thing over the top. In order to do this, yeah, I know New Zealand is pricey, and I know like getting the Henson Company on board is gonna, and there's a lot of big names in here. I'm gonna give this a starting budget of 40 million. We'll start there. I want to see where you go with it.
All right, so Ben, you've got some revisions from the studio. You've got some details on who's going to be in this movie. They apparently like your title, Mel. So what do you think? What comes next?
So first off, so I think we can work this, you know, empowerment scene, all that, you know, we can work in an action scene in a lagoon. So we're going to have a scene where the elf and dwarf go off because they need to get the a special wedding ring, maybe that was forged in the first cauldron of the Witch King Dargamoth or something. You know, we can make up our own stuff now. Just say a bunch of names and it'll. No, this is very profound. I'm thinking about it. So they go that, and it's in the dark lagoon of Darmothmen Dock, where the ancient wedding ring is kept by a dragon, because dragons like treasure, because they're like lying in it and lying in, you know, like being like Scrooge McDuck except giant. So there'll be a big scene where they need to slay this dragon, and you know we'll have like the dwarf and elf fighting it, and you know that can actually like they become more and more attracted to each other as they're fighting this dragon and are in perfect sync with each other. And then when they slay the dragon, you know, they're covered in blood, and then they like embrace each other and like start kissing and like with all the blood over their face, and it'll be very steamy, you know.
Oh, I'm liking this.
Yeah, the blood and gold, you know, we'll be taking off someone's box, we'll just say. I don't know if casting, but also, the dwarf lady needs to have a beard because dwarven culture.
Right.
So yeah, that's my thing. It's like, just really writing in this big, quest that they need to go in to get this ring. It starts out, and that's really how they make more of their connections by, being in peril together and seeing how the two fight. The elf uses bows and archery and sorcery, and the dwarf just hits stuff. And I think, it'll be a nice, they'll make their connection that way. And it's really a microcosm for the dwarves and elves to work together, for they are stronger together. Obviously, that I want the dragon to talk, so that's going to go to our director. So yeah, that's my big change.
All right, so Kyle, you've got some revisions back. You have some more details on specific scenes. Jenna's booked a production residency at a lagoon for you. What do you think? How's this going? What's going to happen next?
All right. I love the sexiness, cranking up the sexiness, 100% down. Loving most of the things. With the budget, I am not going to sacrifice on the quality of the effects, the cinematography, and everything. And we got to make that dragon look boss. So I can't afford Denzel and Winston Duke and Viola Davis and Whoopi Goldberg. They're A-listers. They're too expensive. So we got to go cheap. The other thing, I have to change the love story. As much as we'd love to have a lady dwarf, most actresses have more respect to work for the money that I'm going to offer to do all my special effects. So literally not a single black woman agreed to do this movie. So we're recasting. I have a friend in the IRS who did me a favor, so we got Wesley Snipes on board. We've got Keith David doing the voice of the dragon because he's just looking for
thank you.
work. Ice-T's looking to get out of TV, so he's going to play the dwarf in the love story opposite Wesley Snipes. I have not told either one of them that it is a gay love story yet, but I think we'll be okay, right? It's just, we got to work with a budget here. Like, I wanted this, and it's fine. I understand. We're here to make money, right? I'm feeling the director on that, or the producer on that. I'm trying to think. We need a couple more casts to fill it out. We're gonna do Luke Gossett Jr. is gonna be added to the cast as well, and Michael Jai White. That rounds out our cast because we're gonna pay him a good rate. Just they're getting paid working actor fees. Let's put it that way. But yeah, the lagoon scene. Holy shit, is that? Have you seen Wesley Snipes under a waterfall? Because in test footage, holy shit. Is it pure freaking beauty when the water just hits his muscles and everything. Wow, I'm sorry. The crew had to do this in shifts as they took breaks to take cold showers while we were filming. I don't mean to pat my own back, but it might be the most amazing thing I've ever done in my career. And my whole reel is going to be the extended 17 minutes that my director's cut has the lagoon scene to 17 minutes. I for the theatrical down to 4 because I like I said, we're here to make money. I got the final cut down to 90 minutes. It's a nice slick, thing. Director's cut's 4 hours long. We'll put that on the Blu-ray. It's a lot of Wesley Snipes without a shirt with water, and it's pretty great. So that's all I got.
All right, so Jenna, you've got some very specific revisions back.
Oh, yeah.
You have a lot of let's call it sensual footage.
Yes.
Of Wesley Snipes and Ice-T. What do you think? Is this heading the right direction? And is there anything you want to change before this gets the ship out the door to theaters?
Originally, when I first heard about the changes, I was really upset because I really wanted the whole feminism angle and to work with the class stuff. But after watching all of that footage, I
know,
just,
right?
no, I'm on board. I am totally down with all of this. I do absolutely love the creativity that the team has come up with under the tightened budget.
Tightened is right.
Yeah. So I'm digging all of that. I think we need. I think the dragon. The original look of the dragon just wasn't quite what I was going for. It looked a little bit more like Puff the Magic Dragon than like, something.
That was $20 million of our budget on that dragon.
Yeah, it was just, it wasn't doing it for me. It just seemed too perky almost for what was going on with the rest of the film.
Was it the hypersensitive nipples?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, damn it.
So
I know they're not mammals, but
I know that we don't have a lot. We don't really have anything left in the budget. But I think we need to find a way to revamp that just a little bit. Like I don't know where to get the money from. I'll see if I can scrape something together. But that dragon was just it was awkward. It was awkward.
Film's
I'm
going
sorry.
out the door like tomorrow.
Yeah, well, get moving then. Like, I think that dragon was
okay. We'll take the
I was
nipples out.
unhappy
We'll
with
make it. We'll make it a little more streamlined.
okay. Yeah, I think that'll help.
As dues, if Keith Davis doing the voice, it better be a badass dragon. You're right. That
Yeah.
was on me. I took
okay.
a bold choice, and it was the
Thank
wrong
you.
one.
I appreciate that. I did like what you did with the talking daffodil, though. I think that was fantastic.
Some of my best
Thank
work.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was great.
I was not aware of this.
I couldn't believe we got Mario Van Peebles to voice it, though.
Oh, it was fantastic. I was so beautifully juxtaposed.
He insisted on taking his shirt off in the studio, though. I don't know what that was about. It was.
Did you get footage of that?
Yeah, I mean, is Mario Van Peebles shirtless? Of course I did.
All right. We'll talk later.
Who do I look like?
All right, so I'm going to feed your movie Mel into the movie machine, and I'm going to pull our lever, which sounds like a dragon's roar.
You all heard that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this movie has some very interesting results. There are plenty of people who don't like it, but there are tons of people who really do. Tumblr just like eats this movie alive. They think it's the greatest thing that's ever happened, and like everybody's shipping everyone, and like the erotic fan art is just like massive. Like Tumblr goes down when this movie comes out because their servers are overloaded as people are posting their fan art of these characters. Wesley Snipes finally pays his taxes. Like he has a transformative experience getting to do like a film he really was excited about again. Ice-T comes out of the closet as bisexual, and like he talks about like, the homophobic culture of his youth, and like, it becomes like this, wonderful, point for, young folks who experience that to like, get behind, and, it's like this nice little moment for those folks who are struggling with that themselves. So, you get a lot of positive press, even if the movie's not all that amazing. There's some cool stuff that happens in it. It's pretty sexy, and like a lot of people like that, but it's certainly no masterpiece.
And the Tolkien estate, we totally like bamboozled them, right?
Yeah, so I mean, like you kept it different enough that it wasn't tied in.
That's not the adjective
yeah.
I'd use, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of one specific one.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, you managed to avoid that. The thing that ends up hurting you the most is actually your title, because it is straight up Elvish. So you end up in legal battle for a while with that. But there was a character listed as one of the background characters was named Mel. So you found like a legal
That was the
loophole
name
to
of the
get out of it.
daffodil. That was Mario
Right.
Van Peebles,
Yeah.
was Mel.
So, it was, you found a legal loophole to get out of that situation. And it doesn't really compel people to run to the theaters, just the crazy ass footage did. So since the movie machine is magic, we can just take a little more time to go back, make any last minute changes. Or if you want to call it art, that's cool too. So beginning with our writer.
So I think, I don't want to say, so I think we real world building of our setting. So I've written several 5-page monologues that I would like certain characters to say. Explaining the culture of the dwarves and, how the first king of Arngard met with the the Duke of Man, who once slayed the archdemon of Asmagroth, whose cousin was also the secret cousin of the fire giants. And, let's just go on, we can work it in organically, and just say a bunch of things. We want this setting to feel real. We want what's happening to just show that what's happening in the story is just a small part of a larger world. There are forces out there, and though this love is but a flicker in the shadowy darkness of muck, that once the Dark Lord shall return on the 9th summer. That can even set up for a sequel.
I mean, that's in the 4 hours director's cut. I'll cram all that shit in
Right.
there.
And, set up for a sequel where, then, we had like gay elf and dwarf, and let's set up a sequel where we'll have lesbian orc and human. They're enemies too. We're just breaking all the barriers here, okay? And just let's make this into a franchise, an epic fantasy world.
All right, so Kyle, you've got some a few more revisions. You've been told to add in more. What do you think? Is that something you're going to agree with?
Yeah, so I'm down with that as long as we can keep it right at the 90-minute cut. I think that's what really did it some favors because it was a lean, exciting movie romp with sexy ass Wesley Snipes and Ice-T, man. Ice-T, man, that guy, he hired a trainer. I didn't know a man that old could look that ripped, but man, he pulled off that sexy dwarf look like nobody's business. So I'm down.
Nice.
I do agree the title's problematic. I have some titles wrapping in my head but I'm a white director in Hollywood. Every title I can think of this film involves the word black and then something, and I think that is, I'm not Marvel of the 1970s and 80s, so I'm just going to avoid doing that. I'm just going to leave the title as it is, even though it's not great. It didn't hurt us that much. We'll incorporate a daffodil maybe in the poster for promotional materials, and I'm going to have Mel be the talking daffodil of Mario Van Peebles. He recorded so much stuff. We don't have to bring him in. We just use, and he along the way, he's able to pop up as a flower in different places and give advice to the lovers and everything, and it's great. So the story the point of view slightly shifted to the daffodil, not totally. So like all the sex scenes, like when they're just getting it on the lagoon in the water, or from like the camera angle where the daffodil will be growing on like the grove really nearby.
It's not the only thing growing in that scene, Kyle.
Oh my.
Right? Anyway, that's all I got.
I get
Oh,
it.
I get it.
All right, so Jenna, are you happy with your production team? Did they make the movie that you wanted to? You going to change anything?
I love the movie itself as art. I couldn't stop watching and rewatching it.
My wrist gets tired when I watch it. I don't know why.
Mine too.
Oh.
So I would keep the art concept the same, please. But I hate being in court, so I think that I would. Pushing the daffodil more may help a lot. Changing the name, possibly. I might actually do that just because. That's so boring, you guys. You have no idea how gross that is. So.
We needed something boring from the title because the amount of like blood that's going to rush to certain body parts during this film. Like they can't get too excited for the title, I think.
Yeah.
But you're the producer. I defer to you.
It's I don't know, something about rushing streams or something that's more like, I want to hit that lagoon.
Blood on Gold.
Blood on Gold. That's good. I like that. The word black isn't in the title at all. So,
Yeah, I don't know how to do that when I have a cast like this, so
Yeah.
I just like I don't. There's like some genetic thing like I want to do the title, so I just avoid it. So
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, nothing really
Beards and
changes
beards.
beyond that point.
Oh,
What did you end up with the final title?
Blood and Gold.
Uh,
Ears and beards?
no, I like Blood and Gold.
Elves and... oh,
Blood and Gold. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so Blood and Gold does a little bit better in the marketing than Mel does. You get a little more traffic that first round, but nothing really changes. The same effects are pretty much there. So you are absolutely able to make your money back, and you get to continue to work, and hopefully you end up making more movies that you love in a deep, intimate way that you love this one.
How does the expanded universe do?
Well, I guess you'll have to find out next time on the Movie Machine. And as always, we are going to end our episode with a quote of wisdom from our new patron saint, Jaden Smith. Lately, people call me Scoop Life.
Yeah, right?
Do they?
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We've been the Movie Machine.
Thank
Check
you
us
very
out,
much.
hotchocolatemedia.net.
And also, if you like what you saw in the silent auction, you can bid to be a guest like Jenna in one of our regular episodes, and all that money goes to Fearless. Thank you.
Woo!
All right, let's give it up for Hot Chocolate Media and their Movie Machine podcast.